Hey y'all. Before I start this video is meant for adult doll collectors only. It is not meant for children. I know I'm about to drop a few F-bombs here and there, so yeah, be warned. I just got out of the shower, so yeah, I'm letting my hair air dry, and I also am kind of cleaning and rearranging my Rainbow High shelf. So I thought it would be a cute idea to kind of make a video about Rainbow High and a few of the characters of Rainbow High. As you can see, I kind of arranged them all on my drawer, and that's why I have them all with me here. And that's why I was like, you know what? Why not make a flop 5 of my least favorite Rainbow High characters? Now, this is going to be a controversial video, I bet, and I might ruffle some feathers with this video, but it's purely subjective. This is my own personal opinion. Everybody has opinions about the characters. Everyone has their least liked and their favorite characters. And Rainbow High as a doll line is such a brilliant and exciting doll line. So it's kind of impossible for me to make a top 5. Because you might say, why not celebrate your favorite characters instead of tearing your least favorite characters down? Now, that's kind of impossible. There's so many great characters that I love and so many great dolls. So making a top 5 is virtually impossible. But making a flop 5 is kind of way easier because there's only a handful of characters where I'm like, the doll is not really up to snuff. She's not really, or he's not really, or they're not really among my favorites. That's why I was kind of like, okay, you know what? I'm going to be making a flop 5. And I bet there are a few dolls out there. I'm picking Series 1 Violet as an example, that are really disliked among many people and among the fan base as a whole. And I love her. So as you can see, this whole video is subjective. She might be the #1 flop on a large quantity of the fan base's tier lists, but in my list, she's not going to be appearing. I kind of laid her bangs the way they should be, and I also restyled her ponytail to be a bit higher than the way that she got out of the box. So yeah, Violet is one of the characters, especially Series 1 Violet, that is very much disliked by a majority of the fan base, but as she's one of my, not necessarily favorite characters, but as she's one of the characters whose design I really like, she's not going to be making my list. Now I think it's also important to make a few rules before I get into the flop 5. Because, like here, I'm not going to be counting junior high dolls. I feel it's kind of unfair to pit them against the full-sized version of Rainbow High dolls because they're in a different league. So eventually you could make a top or flop 5 of junior high dolls when they have more waves, like Wave 2 has come out, and I'm really excited for Wave 3. I mean, everyone loves Wave 3, so a junior high version of Wave 3 is going to be brilliant. But yeah, it would be kind of unfair to be like, okay, I'm going to be including junior high in my flop 5. I'm also not going to be including boy dolls because I don't know, yeah, like there are not many of them, and I'm generally one that prefers the female dolls. So of course it would be easy for me to be like, okay, my flop 5 consists of River, Finn, Ash, etc. But yeah, that's the reason why I'm not going to be including boy dolls. I'm also not going to be like, okay, I'm going to be filling my flop 5 with a whole line. So you're not going to be seeing multiple dolls from one line, because again, it would be easy to be like, okay, the cheer version of this doll and that doll and this doll is very much among my least liked doll. So they're gonna be in my flop 5. So yeah, and I can also give you a bit of a spoiler warning, because while I'm gonna be showing you my flop 5, I also have not collected beyond Pacific Coast yet. So anything beyond that is not gonna appear here, but it wouldn't appear here anyway because none of the dolls after a certain line are among my flop 5 because they're also brilliant. Yeah, that's why anything beyond Pacific Coast won't be on this list. So let's start off with an easy one. I think we can kind of all agree on this one, and that's Lyric Lucas. And while I'm holding Lyric here, I think I can also set another rule, because Lyric is one of the dolls that has some of my personal favorite outfit and clothing pieces in all of Rainbow High in its entirety. So if I would be considering fashions and clothes into my assessment of the dolls, that would also be misleading. That's why I'm purely talking about the design of the doll itself, like face and hair. So yeah, I won't be taking fashions into consideration, or else Lyric would not be on my flop 5. Even though one of the dolls that is going to be in my flop 5 also has some of the, in my opinion, tackiest outfit pieces in all of Rainbow High. So yeah, why is Lyric in my flop 5? You can kind of see why, because I had to hide half of her face with her hair to be able to kind of bear looking at her. Just kidding. No, like, I don't know, her eyeshadow is odd, her whole makeup around her eyes is odd. The fact that they used the original Wave 1 mold, including the shininess, is kind of a turn off. I'm also not that big of a fan of her hair color, this kind of oil slick, multicolored rainbow hair is not a personal fave of mine. That's why Lyric is in my flop 5. Now the next one. Who's going to be the next one? Yep. The next one is gonna be Cheer Poppy. And again, I think a lot of fans might agree on my decision to put her on this list. And maybe with her we can talk about variants, because who knows, maybe there's a Cheer Poppy out there who's super pretty, who does not have this excessive amount of blush on her cheeks that is really putting me off. Maybe there's one out there whose butterfly eye makeup is a bit more subtle, and therefore maybe there's some out there who is a bit prettier. But in my opinion, the whole makeup that they used on this doll is really off-putting, and she's not giving what she should. And therefore, Cheer Poppy is also in my flop 5. So yeah, those are the first 2 entries in my personal flop 5 of Rainbow High dolls. And the next one I haven't unboxed yet, so that one is not on my drawer. But the next doll is gonna be ta-da, Jet Dawson. And I believe this entry in my flop 5 might be the most controversial decision. There are a lot of things that I love about Jet, especially Jet as a character. I think on the show she's awesome. She's got this worldly kind of vibe about her, and I really love the voice actress as well as her whole demeanor. She's very wise beyond her years, but she's also very cool. And even though she is, I think, a tutor or a teacher at Rainbow High, she's also very approachable. So yeah, the character on the show is among my favorite characters. But the doll, I don't know. I think had Jet come out later in the game, and had they used one of the later face molds with the more almond-shaped eyes, she would have looked much prettier. But this version of the doll is, kind of lacking. Again, I'm also not a fan of the multicolored hairstyle on her. It's very tough to put it into words, but maybe there are others out there who kind of feel the same about her, but she's not really grabbing me or catching me in the way that a lot of other Rainbow High dolls do. You can see that I also did not arrange them in a certain order, because I did not want to be like, okay, this is my least favorite, like this is my flop of the flops, and this is just the 5th place of the flops. So yeah, they're all kind of in the same area of being among my least liked, even though in the flop 5 as well, there are certain dolls that I might prefer over other dolls. But yeah, this flop 5 is kind of like all-encompassing, but not in a certain tier. I'm 100% certain about one doll who's definitely gonna make the cut. But to round out my flop 5, I'm kind of getting unsure. See what I had told you? Like, Rainbow High has so many great dolls that it's kind of like, who should I pick next for my flop 5? And I'm kind of like torn. I love Karma. I love her eyes. I love her face shape. I love the color of lipstick they chose for her. I'm not sure about the color scheme, but overall, she's definitely not going to be in my flop 5. Maybe, yeah. I think I'm going to be picking Avery Styles. So here we have Avery. Again, why is she in my flop 5? I think the eye makeup on the doll is probably a big decision of why I put her here. Because it's kind of like very much over the top. Again, I think this is a through line throughout most of the dolls in my flop 5, that I'm not a big fan of Rainbow High dolls with an excessive amount of eye makeup in this way. Like, the application is great, and the colors they chose are also pretty on their own. But the whole combination of the excessive amount of glitter, and there's a cut crease, and then there's eyeshadow and a gradient fading out into different colors, and mama, it's just too much. It's just way too much. So yeah, that's probably why Avery is making the cut. Even though, again, when it comes to the fashions and her studio as a whole, it has some of my favorite fashion pieces. And I also think that the Avery Styles studio, as far as outfits goes, is much better than the closet trunk that came out later. I did not really vibe with any of the fashions that were in the closet. Certainly much prefer the outfit pieces that Avery had in her studio. And I also can't wait to purchase the Ainsley studio as well. So the time has come to finish off my flop 5. And I think you know who I'm going to be choosing for maybe my least favorite. I don't know. I think I'm torn between her and another one. So yeah, I think it's fairly obvious who is going to be part of my flop 5. And it's kind of funny that she's placed right in the center of this. Yes, it's the second version, Series 2, Amaya Ray. And I kind of think that you can see that she possesses a lot of the traits that are kind of like why I chose these dolls. I mean, Jet aside, I think Jet is just bland, and that's why she's here, even though she also has rainbow colored hair, which Lyric has rainbow colored hair, and yeah, Amaya also has rainbow colored hair. Though Kaya also has multicolored hair, and I'm kind of loving that. I mean, Phaedra as well, and Simone. But yeah, I mean, the eye makeup, and you know, she's giving clown. Let's be real. She's like clown cheerleader. And I put her in this outfit. I love her shoes. That's one thing that I can say. I love her shoes. But yeah, fashions are not part of judging these dolls. And I love this second outfit. And I love that these two are separate pieces. And I love the skirt. And I love the socks. But her first outfit with those sequins and that two-piece skirt top with that belt in the middle is also very not my favorite. And yeah, I mean, I think it's also so much more sorry for the hair situation, but a lot of these dolls still have the original gel intact, because I kind of I'm sometimes a bit lazy, but yeah, I mean, I styled Lyric's hair. I really loved styling her hair, but with these, the fact that they're among my least favorite is probably also the fact that I kind of neglected them, but I digress. Amaya and Poppy, I'm torn between these two, but one of these is probably my least favorite Rainbow High doll. And again, with Amaya, it was kind of even more disappointing because her first doll with the white hair was so fierce, she was so awesome, that when they came up with this version of her, it was kind of like double disappointment. So I'm really happy that they went back to the white-haired version for the junior high version of Amaya. And that junior high version really makes up for this version kind of lacking. Also, this version has so many flaws, like she's got stains on her legs, and I even tried removing the stains with some acne cream. I really advise you to not use the acne cream method on Rainbow High dolls, because the hard plastic has become smeared due to me trying to kind of make these stains disappear, and the stains are still here. And the socks also ripped when I put the shoes on top of them. So yeah, this is just a whole host of issues that kind of came together, and I definitely need to pick a new one up. And maybe I have better luck with the new one. Maybe I get one with an articulated neck. Maybe she's gonna be not that big of a flop like this version is. That was my personal flop 5 of Rainbow High dolls. And I'm dying to know which one of the dolls you would put in your personal flop 5. Again, like I said, I love Rainbow High. I mean, I wouldn't have spent hundreds upon hundreds, if not thousands of dollars and euros to get these dolls. So it's just all in fun, all in jest. And maybe you agree, maybe you disagree, but I would love to hear thoughts, hear opinions, and yeah, maybe we can have a fun discussion down in the comments below. And while I'm here in my toy room, in my doll room, one of the recent comments wanted to see more of my restyle of the OMG La Rose doll. So I'm going to be showing you that in a sec, just as a short epilogue. I'm also going to be showing you the Sindy Paul doll that I have in more close-ups, because again, that was another request in one of my older videos. So yeah, if you just came here for the flop 5 of Rainbow High, you can tune out, and I'm hoping to see you in my next video. But if you like to see more, let's go. This is the La Rose doll who I unboxed. This is just, you know, I love these bows, and this one came with Miss Celebrate. And there's another one that came with the other present surprise OMG doll, and I kind of keep them because I haven't attached it to her head, but I kind of think it's kind of cute. So yeah, that's why I keep them, and I just plop them on the head while they're in the shelf. And yeah, there was a request that wanted to see more of her and more of the way I did her hair. I kind of did not like the braids that she had. I loved the fact that she had a mid part that went all the way through the back of her head. And it's kind of in 4 colors. Like there's this version of pink that's also here and in the bangs. And then there's this version of pink that's there and here as well. And her hair is super soft. It's so thickly rooted. It's so heavy. I just love it. And I kind of like, I washed out the gel in her bangs, and I just pushed them aside because the triangular cut of the bangs was kind of like odd looking. She also had these antennas that were gelled, so I washed the gel out, and I laid them flat, and I boil washed them to make them kind of like frame her face. And yeah, she's pretty much giving me Chibiusa, and I love her. I love her so much. She's definitely one of the greatest dolls to be released in 2022. Now on to, so I kind of like, it looks like I hid all of my Sindy dolls, but that's not the case. I love my Sindy dolls. So yeah, there was a request that wanted to see more of Paul. So here we go. I think he's very handsome. He's very dapper. I talked about how I found him at a flea market, and the only thing is that the hair paint is kind of like scratched off in the back, but I mean, that's okay. I'm not going to be displaying him from the back. And there are so many layers to his clothing, which surprised me. Like, of course, him being an old school vintage male doll. He wears this Chippendales kind of vest thingy underneath, which just looks like a shirt if you put the jacket on him. And that's because it's much easier for you to dress and undress a male doll if it does not have so much fabric around his arms. I mean, imagine him wearing a long-sleeved shirt and then trying to put this jacket on top of the long-sleeved shirt. It's just going to be ruching up and bunching up here, and it would be a whole mess. But I mean, it's kind of giving Chippendales, and he looks like he's ready to jump out of a cake and kind of dance at a hen party, a bachelorette party. Here are his pants with this pink glittered trim around the sides. Here are the shoes, and the shoes are even branded Paul in the bottom. And the cool thing is that he not only had shoes and pants, I think the most awesome fact is, I'm just going to be showing you this in a moment. I mean, you can now kind of see it. He actually had black socks, and that's awesome, isn't it? I mean, you rarely see any dots of socks these days. And while I'm not gone yet, you know, having all of them here together also kind of like, I don't know, but it also kind of like makes me question Rainbow High's diversity a bit, because, girl, it's like 90% white dolls. And I never really noticed that all that much. And I mean, Series 4 has made great strides in more diversity, but I think the issue is the fact that the core wave 1 had been so wide that having 4 waves of the core 6 has also kind of multiplied that problem into making it seem like Rainbow High is way less diverse, because you end up with not 24, because I mean, Sunny is not a white doll. And I know that a lot of people like headcanon Skylar to kind of like Latin X and not white, but I mean, she's got blue eyes and her skin tone is really not that deep. So yeah, in the end, to me, she's also like among the white dolls. So yeah, that kind of made it, I think, a bigger issue than it would have been had the core Series 1 been a bit more diverse from the get-go. So it kind of like seeped through Rainbow High as a whole when they ended up releasing different versions of those core 6. Yeah, that's just the point that kind of like was something that I just noticed. So yeah, that's it. If you stuck with me until this point of the video, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please leave a like, comment down below and let me know what you think of this video. Subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already. Shout out to having now been among the people who have 1,000 and more subscribers, which is super awesome, and I really appreciate and I want to just show everyone who watches my videos, who likes my videos, and who has subscribed with all of my gratitude. So I might catch you in my next one. Mwah.